Hey, y'all. Welcome to your show.
Don't be a victim.
Welcome back for another week. I think we're about a week out from Christmas.
Roughly about that.
Yeah, about a week out, ain't we? I don't know about you over there, but it's also cold where I'm at. Everybody thinks I'm in Alabama. Nope. Came back home to visit for a little bit and not liking this cold.
And I can tell you how bad it is, folks. He's in the cold. He's brain damaged. Why don't you introduce yourself, Lee, of who you are?
Yeah, well, I'm Lee Turner of Tango Farm Training.
And I'm Buddy Myers of Tall Goods. I'm used to the cold. I'm in beautiful, colorful Colorado. Excuse me, we're right now only in one color, purple. We used to be a different color, but right now we're playing that game.
Well, I mean, honestly, like I told you earlier, 4 days ago, I had my toes in the water and ass on the sand, but that ain't happening for me right here.
Well, I did too, but it was in my bathtub, and I was sitting in the Zen garden.
The Zen garden.
Yeah, you know those little things you have on desktops with a little rake where you can move the sand.
I got you.
Folks, it is cold in Indiana. The lights are on, but nobody's home. But Lee will be back with us in just a few moments.
I think I'm back.
Okay, good.
I know we talked about doing some, all these new products is going to be coming out, and that's the reason I brought up the Christmas, because you're probably out shopping for that special someone, some kind of modification or fancy holster or something that they want to go with their firearm. So we wanted to kind of go over some things that's going to be coming out.
Yeah, we're coming into a new year, 2022, and, the manufacturers, they're going to be releasing all their new products. We're going to have the SHOT Show out in Las Vegas, where all the products are previewed to the dealers. The press gets an earful of what's available, what's coming. And the new introductions are going to be starting to flow out and show up in your retailers, in the time period of February and March. And we want to talk a little bit about that, there's a term I use, and I mean this with all due respect to all of you, the fool that rushes in. Don't be the fool that rushes in. We don't want to be out there getting the newest, brightest, shiniest ball on the hill.
Yeah, let it get tested and tried for a little bit. As I went around the gun show there a month ago, they had all the new shiny products. And, I do favor the older models that I know are reliable, that I know that works. You got to be careful of what you're going to buy, especially any type of modification to your firearm. You want to read on the reviews. You definitely like to talk to people who have shot them. You don't want to be the first one, because sometimes you want to definitely check the manufacturer's warranty. If it fails on you, what kind of return do you have on it?
Well, yeah, that's a really key point. Plus the ammunition caliper, I'm seeing a lot of in the pre-introduction stuff, and a lot of that I'm under non-disclosure with certain manufacturers of 5.7 by 28. Well, that's an interesting round. It's been around a lot of years, but it's highly pricey. And it's very hard to get a hold of, because I'll tell you what, the ammunition manufacturers, who, yes, are beginning to get caught up. Things are starting to catch up. Ammunition availability is starting to rise. It's just like everything else in the supply chain of products. Things are starting to show up and become available, but they're building the commonly used stuff, not the unique or the boutique type ammunition. It's the 9s, the 40s, the 45s, the 30-06, the 308, the, 5.56, 223s, the 45.70s, 45 long Colts. It's the stuff, 38 special, 357, the things that you normally hear of versus something like a 6.8 Grendel or a 454 SOCOM or the 450 Beowulf. I mean, those... there's some boutique manufacturers are making them, but not the big guys. They're not running them yet because they're still trying to catch up on the demand on the other products that have got a higher demand curve on them.
Yeah, and like Buddy knows, I'm a classic cowboy gun, and get into an action lever. And like Buddy mentioned, the 45 long Colt. Have you seen the prices on a box of 45 long Colt? It's going to make you not want to shoot them.
Yeah, but once you shot one, you don't ever want to not shoot it again.
Yeah.
That's why you learn to reload them.
Learn to reload if you can, but I mean, even reloading is expensive right now. So,
oh yeah, because you're competing. Primers. Yeah, the primers. primary. You're in competition with the manufacturers. As we said in the show a few back, the ammunition manufacturers, they've had bullets, they've had casings. Where they've had their challenges are at, because they outsource the production, were in the primers and in the powder formulation. As such, you're competing with the manufacturers to buy the primers, and that's why the price is so high. It's the old laws of supply and demand. So, yeah, to that point, yeah, difficult to find, difficult to buy, pricey.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you get a lot of price gouging
going on bad right now. But I do notice that some of the more common calibers of rounds that are coming out, the 9mm, you would think even like 38 specials would be starting to come back around. They're still kind of hard to find. But yeah, 9mm, 22s are starting, 22 mags are hard to find. So when you start buying these handguns, look for the calibers that's going to offer you the best opportunity to find the ammunition that you're wanting to shoot. At least keep you in practice, something you can go target shoot with. We've stated many times, you can get you a nice 22 long rifle handgun. It's cheap to shoot. Right now they are coming out, and you can buy them at bulk orders for a fairly decent price. Not as good as it used to be, but it keeps you in practice. So shoot the 22s and save on your wallet by not shooting the big calibers.
Same thing with rifles and shotguns. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of shotguns right now going through 20s, 12 gauges, upland bird guns, overs and unders, a lot of CZ sharptails, a lot of older Ruger Red Label over and unders are going through. Pump guns from Mossberg I'm seeing come through here that people are buying and haven't transferred. A lot of, lever guns going through, and they're going through in the normal type calibers, 30-30, 45-70, bolt action rifles, a lot of 30-06, a lot of 308, some 6.5 Creedmoor, a few 243 Winchesters, which, is common, kind of a middle grade round you can use for a lot of different things. It's great for antelope. It's great for smaller deer, worthless on a big, getting yourself a big elk. There you want to go up to 270 and things, 30-06, 308, bigger ones. But I'm saying people buy those. They're coming through. So, just find the ones where you're going to get that ammunition that's kind of it's going to be readily available, or you've got some already. Don't be out there, buying something that's kind of like an oddball, like those other ones I was saying. Wait until the ammunition supplies build up, and which goes right back to the new guns that are coming out. The manufacturers, yeah, you'll see new guns coming out, and they've got a new this, they've got a new bell whistle horn. But, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back to that subject just here in a second, so stay with us. All right, we're back from that break. Now, like I said, they're going to be coming out with new stuff. And, new furniture, the thing we call furniture in the industry, stuff that goes on guns. One of the ones that they've come out with is these red dots, scopes that go on top of handguns. Now, it was like this industry, for any of you, if you haven't worked in the industry, you don't really know how fickle this industry really can be and how things take place. 1 year, revolver bad, semi-automatic good. Next year, semi-automatic bad, revolver, good. Another year, 9mm bad, 40 good, and then next year, 40 bad, 45 good, and it cycles. It goes through this. But these red dot things on top of guns, I know a lot of people like them. I think they're great for target. They're great for competition. Exactly. But, they're great for that. But to carry it, if you decide to use that firearm for home defense, to carry it on your body, I personally do not like them. If you want to have a sight assistant program, and I was having this discussion with some executive protection professionals, you call them bodyguards, that I was working with earlier this week. I said, I kind of gear all my equipment to no single point of failure, whether it's for competition or for personal shooting, home defense, personal defense, client defense. It's like the sidearm I'm carrying today. It's got fiber optic sights on it, so I pick up the light no matter how small to illuminate my sights. There's tritium right behind those, making them an optimal night sight, so they'll still irradiate so that when I look down the sight, I see green out on the front, red on the back, which means, yeah, okay, you can, you're lined up on your targets, and it's got a Crimson Trace laser grip on it. I'm a big, Lee will tell you, I'm a big laser grip fanatic. Point shoot, and I'm sorry, as we get older, you can't see. Plus, if you come out of low light or conditions into bright lights, it takes your eyes 20 minutes to adjust the rods and cones, and the same thing in the inverse. But if you got that red dot on that gun, by God, I can look right at that and press the trigger. That's showing up there on that laser grip irradiating on the target versus trying to line all them sights.
Yeah, I am an iron sight guy, and I love the high vis. I usually have all my models changed out to high vis because they do light up in the dark.
Phil Howell and his team make a great product there.
They do, and they're out of Fort Collins there in Colorado. And
he moved honestly. He's got his offices there, but he's got his manufacturing is up in Cheyenne. Oh yeah. Well, they pissed him off when they went to the magazine thing here in 2013. I know Phil from some stuff we've done, and he was pretty agitated.
But still you can, I've shot the Romeos. Okay, now you think for target shooting, like Buddy was saying, they're great because you got time to find them and find your shot placement with them. But in a self-defense situation, now you're trying to look for a dot and find your shot placement, but you're not going to have that time. I'm definitely not a fan. I know that they're motion activated. As soon as you pull it up, they're on. But now, you got to get target acquisition with that. Whereas with the iron sights, once you've trained yourself with those for self-defense, you're going to have a much better survival rate. But for target shooting, the Romeos are great. But again, down here where I shoot in competition with the Marine Corps League, we can only shoot iron sights. We can't have any modifications. So, I like to train as I may fight, as Buddy always says in the classes.
Train like we intend to fight and hope to God we never do. But see, this is, to Lee's point too. The reason I like lasers, that laser illumination, that red dot irradiates on somebody, it can actually de-escalate things first. Plus, if I have to clear a holster and shoot from my hip, I can. If I have to shoot, one-handed, makes it easier to aim onto the target while I'm holding myself up because I've been pushed in the ground or I'm holding somebody back that I'm supposed to protect or a loved one. And I can put them, bring it up and get it on target. Plus, it allows me to focus right on that red dot and make sure I'm on target. I did an exercise last week to shoot myself to requalify on the same standards that's required by the city and county of Denver for the security officers that I have shoot. I did it both with a 45 caliber Springfield XD, and I did it with the SIG PT26, the MK25, the seal issue sidearm, both equipped with a laser grip. And I was doing it point shooting, rapid fire, and I was putting 14 45 caliber rounds on target multiple times in 13 seconds. And then with the 226, because I had more rounds, I had 17 in that magazine, I was getting 15 to 17 on target in this nice centralized group in roughly about 14 seconds. So it helps you aim, helps you focus, keeps you on target in that highly elevated, emotion-driven environment that you'd be in. And you can put them on rifles. Now, home defense-wise, I'll tell you what, you put one of those on a shotgun, because at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're waking up, you're going to be in a high-stress situation. Your heart's going to be racing. The alarm's going to be going off, whether it's two-legged, four-legged, or electronic. And trying to get all those sights aligned and all that crap ain't going to work. No flashlights, by the way, folks. No flashlights. Tell the bad guy right where you're at. Put that red dot on them. That can either de-escalate it or give you the place where to shoot. And there's going to be some new stuff a little bit with lasers, too, that'll be hitting the market.
So, this is for the gentleman out there. If you're looking for a great gift for your spouse, instead of buying her just a bunch of little junk that she's going to put into a corner, yeah, Crimson Trace, you're talking upwards to a couple $100 for these grips. But they're well worth the money. I have a set on my SIG C3, and once you stick them on, they come plus or minus 3 inches of the X where you're holding. They do have an adjustment if you want to fine tune it in, but we suggest you do that from a sitting position off of a rest. You're trying to fine tune it in from a standing freehand. Probably not going to have too much of a success, but anyways, that would be a great gift for her, other than a bunch of stuff that you spent $200 on. I mean, the gift of safety is alone to make her enjoy it, because she's gonna be hidden.
Yeah, when they get it and they start to train with it, don't try to align the front sights on the gun to the iron sights to the laser. You'll always be 2 inches off. They come out of the factory zeroed at 25 yards or 50 yards, depending upon the firearm, and you always aim with the laser. This is where most people go wrong. They try to align that front sight with that little red dot. They're essentially bore sighted because the bore set's below. You always aim with the laser, because wherever that laser is pointing at, that's where the bullet's going to go if it's properly set up. You can adjust them for windage and elevation, which is a little bit different from most manufacturers. But here's something I want to tell all of you guys out there. If you're going to get a firearm for a lady for the holidays, don't get the one that's perfect for you. Don't get the one that's, tell her, oh, this is the perfect gun for you. You get a gift certificate. You take her to go see it. Or she's seen that gun and that's the one she wants. And you find a way to hem and haw and manipulate things. I won't get that for you, and then buy it for her because it's the one she wants. Don't tell her that's the perfect gun for you, or they have that idiot stick clerk tell her the same thing.
Yeah. See, I'm going to go with, if I have to choose between a red dot Romeo sight or a laser, I'm going with the laser all day long. It's there. You can see it. You don't have to try to aim down. I mean, you can shoot a laser from the hip.
Yeah, it's called keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
Keep it simple, stupid. You don't want to be, I do use like a burst fast fire 3s and 2s, and the ones also from EOTech. They're sights on guns, but that's a whole different purpose. And I use them on long guns. I don't use them on my handguns. Now, on that statement, let's take another break, and we will come back in just a minute. All right, we're back from break. But, you just find what works for you. Find something that's reasonable, and don't try to cram something down somebody else's throat because it's great for you. And that's the same thing back to our original opening statement about the new guns that are coming out this year. And ammunition, other home defense tools. Taser, had a really cool product there, Pulse Plus, which allowed it to talk to your phone and do all kinds of GPS insanity. But guess what? It didn't sell real well. They've come back and reintroduced mid-product year, going back to the original Pulse, which is a keep it simple, stupid device that's now readily available. They've also, the X26P that was used in law enforcement and the X26C, they're no longer producing those into the consumer market, but they've introduced the X1s. For those of you that are in the security industry, the X1's a perfect device. Looks like the old X26. But it's a couple $100 less, because guess what they did, guys? They took that LED flashlight out that was on the bottom of it that none of us ever used. Yep. So it's like, well, take it off. It still has a nice laser aiming system on it. They've enhanced the pulse. I mean, it's got some nice stuff on it. But if you're looking also for other home defense stuff, don't get hung up on these pepper ball guns. I did some research on these pepper ball guns. Now, there's a company out there. I don't know if you pronounce it Burn or Bernie, but I think I mentioned it on the show before, BRYNE. They get a pretty high failure rate on the pellets breaking. Saber's got a little bit more success on theirs, but you look at that thing and they look just like one of the Kel-Tec semi-automatic firearms that they make. Thing is, if you draw them on somebody, if they got a gun, they're going to think the same thing. And that's why, back to what we've talked about before, Lee and I, big fans. Gels and splatter streams. Have it atomized, have it get on the subject. There's a lot of stuff coming also within that gel environment, that splatter stream spray for home defense and personal defense. You don't want to carry a firearm? Fine. Think about that, pulse, or think about that taser. You got young kids going off to school. Hey, I don't care if they're male or female. Maybe having that pepper spray there for them to use is a good thing, or that taser if they're mature enough to have it. But, kind of, and there's all kinds of cool, they've got a lot of tactical colors, like what is it? Crypto-tech is the big thing now. Mm-hmm. Looks like the skin off of a damn lizard. But, they got those out there. They got all kinds of stuff.
But those pepper balls, especially inside your home for self-defense, just think. You start clinking them off inside your home, everybody in the home is going to be feeling the effects of it.
Plus, I want you to think about something. I want you all go back and take a look at a lot of the videos of the riots and the public discourse that was happening here last year and the year before. And when I say here in the United States, look at how many times pepper ball guns, and not the ones with the big canisters on top, because all that is essentially not an airsoft paintball gun being fired. But take a look at how many times people got hit with them and it had no effect on them. Because they didn't break, they didn't rupture. They got a rupture. Whereas the one you spray out of the can, it's doing its thing automatically. It's working. It's working.
Well, I mean, if you're going to use a paintball gun for your home defense, you might as well freeze the paintballs. You might have a better chance.
Well, that would be a true statement. That would be a true statement. They would hurt. I mean, or get a really high-powered airsoft, gun at 6.5 millimeter that's putting out something at a really high speed where it's going to sting like a bugger and just put multiples on a target. But I mean, to be honest, at the end of the day, all you do is peel them off. It's not going to stop them. But there's a lot of new products coming, but the first line of, if you're looking at anything too, I mean, even with these home security systems right now, you're seeing lots of them on TV. Okay, you got Rings, you've got I think Xfinity's got a product now. You've got another company, God, what the hell, Blue something or Silent something. Do your research. Make sure, see if they're hackable, what their failure rates are. Simply Safe, that's the one I was thinking of. Look at where they've been used, how they've been deployed, how they function, to make sure that, that they're going to give you what you want, because you never want to be the pioneer in the wagon with generation 1 of anything, because they're subject to recalls. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be, oh, hell, I wish we'd have thought of that when we were making this product the first time. And you don't want to be the pioneer out there in the wagon while my ancestors come down on top of you and wipe you out.
But there is a lot of good home security systems that you don't have to pay the monthly service for. We all know in this time right now, everybody's pinching pennies. But Buddy had mentioned the Ring. The Ring is actually a pretty good one. You buy it, you install it, download the app, and it lets you know, you can set it up for motion. Mine on the front of my house is set up for motion. So if somebody walks in front of it, now it's only going to guard where you put it. It's not good for the side of your house. It only picks up what it sees, but it sends me an alert. You have motion at the front door. And it also streams you to a live TV as long as you got Wi-Fi connected to your phone. So I can swipe it over and I can see who's standing at my front door before I decide to open it. And this is a free service. You just pay for the actual product, and now you're not paying for a monthly. I also have a home alarm system. It only works when I set the code. And does it call anyone? No. But you open that door with that alarm set, it lets out a scream. Now, a bad guy doesn't know if you got it linked to the police station or if whatever it calls. He just knows he's going to hear a loud alarm screaming, and he now knows you're alerted. So right there can be a de-escalation. He's going to take off running. He's not going to continue on into your home.
Yeah, so back to that point is look at all these new products that are coming out. Look at their features, their functions. I'm one of those people that I went with a monitored system many years ago. I've got it on the office. I've got it on my home. I mean, I've done other types of, hardening around my house. But look at all the features and functions. And again, don't be hung up on all, oh, well, that's got this cool Bluetooth thing in it. It's got this cool Wi-Fi thing in it. Because you got to know how secure is it. Because it may be cool and say, oh, yeah, it's very secure. But the single point of I won't call it failure, but access is you decide to save money and be cheap on your Wi-Fi router. And that's easily hackable. Or you didn't implement the right, what do we call it, security protocols on the system, like TLS or, whether or not I'm WEP enabled and what version of WEP I'm enabled with, that it makes it hackable or they can turn it off. I mean, I've actually, and I will not disclose what site it is in my little world, it's, you want to see, can they monitor the signal from the system? Does somebody cut the wire off on the outside of the house? Oh, it'll trip the alarm and send a notice to the PD to get their butt to the facility because somebody's cut the wire. So, there's a that's not just a power outage. They have to physically cut the wire because I went with a ground wire. But look at all those features and functions and what it's got to offer and how it works. That's the critical stuff to think about.
Buddy made a damn good point. You decide to go with one of I'll just put it on and run my Wi-Fi. You don't want to have a cheap Wi-Fi service because your Wi-Fi drops. You got a system that is running strictly off of Wi-Fi. You lose Wi-Fi for 10, 15 minutes. Now that's 10, 15 minutes. Your security systems is not working.
Yeah, so look at all the features and the functions, because this is the time of year when they all come out with new ooey gooey. This is cool. Here's what we do. And then sometime about February or March, you start to get we've got a recall. We've got an update. Yep. It doesn't matter what it is. Just check real close. Well, we're coming up on the end of this show. And, our next show is scheduled to be right after the Christmas holiday. But Lee and I discussed, and I'm going to kind of spring this on Lee as a surprise. We're going to take a hiatus next week because we're going to enjoy time with our families. That our next show will be with you will be in the new year in 2022. But I know that we've greatly appreciated your support this year and listening to the show. And hopefully we've displayed some, knowledge to you as we've gone through it. And Lee, closing your remarks that you'd like to make.
It is. You're still probably out Christmas shopping. So like I always tell you guys, watch your six, watch your family six, and just watch your friends and just even the stranger, watch their six. And as always, as long as you have our Lord and Savior in your life, 6 feet ain't so far down.
And do remember, as I say, remember that freedom is not won on the battlefield, but in the classroom and the home. And during this holiday season, take the time to talk to your children about the freedoms that they've got to enjoy this holiday, to practice whatever religious belief they've got that's granted in the most wonderful document, below scriptures for whatever religion, and that's called the Constitution of the United States. But, it's a wonderful document. Take time to read it and look at it. But enjoy this holiday season with your friends, your family, and we look forward to seeing you in the next year, and have a wonderful, happy New Year from us here.